Welcome back to the deep dive. Sometimes you read a story and think, wow, if they can do it, maybe I can too. And that's kind of what we're diving into today. The story of George who went from literally failing math to becoming, well, a top scholar and successful businessman.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how he took his own experiences and turned them into this framework for success. And that's exactly what we're going to be unpacking today.
Exactly. We've got excerpts from his book, Success Secrets, real life stories to inspire and motivate, along with his autobiography, Red Marks to Flying Colors. I have to say, the title alone, I was hooked.
It's a real journey of transformation for sure. And what makes it so compelling is that it's not just about like academic achievements, but about developing, well, the kind of resilience and strategic thinking that can help you succeed in any area of life.
Okay, so let's get into it. George's early life was marked by some serious challenges. We're talking poverty, a difficult family environment, even physical abuse.
Imagine the impact that must have had on his self-esteem and just his belief in himself.
Yeah.
In his autobiography, he talks about scoring like incredibly low marks in math and English. And that was just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, he actually shares the story about being publicly punished for wearing black socks to school when the rule was white socks. He had to walk around the field during recess, and he talks about how that seemingly small incident really stuck with him. It made him feel like he was constantly doing something wrong.
It's amazing how those early experiences can really shape our perceptions of ourselves. But what's really inspiring is that George didn't let those challenges define him. He had these turning points, these pivotal moments that completely shifted his trajectory.
Like his time in the military, he talks about how it instilled this incredible discipline and mental toughness in him.
Absolutely. It was like this crucible that really forged a new level of determination. But one of the most powerful turning points was his encounter with a classmate, Diana. She saw potential in him that he didn't even see in himself and helped him turn his math grades around.
Talk about the power of a mentor. She really changed the course of his life.
And then there's the moment he discovered his passion for personnel management. It's like a light bulb went off. Suddenly learning wasn't just about grades, it was about something that genuinely excited him.
That's so important. It's about finding that thing that gives you a reason to push yourself, to go beyond what you thought was possible.
And out of these experiences, George developed what he calls the praise model, a framework for achieving success based on 6 key principles: prize dream, rules, analysis, invincibility, strategy, and excellence. We're going to dive deep into each of these, but let's start with prize dream.
All right, so what exactly is a prize dream? It sounds a bit like a dream, something aspirational, maybe even a little out of reach.
It is aspirational, but it's not just some fleeting wish. It's a clearly defined, deeply motivating goal, something that pulls you forward, that gives you a reason to get up in the morning and push through those challenges.
So it's more like a North Star, something that guides your decisions and actions.
Exactly. And George gives a powerful example of this in his book. He talks about his mother and her just unwavering dedication to helping this troubled student named Phoenix. She saw something in this young man that no one else did, and she dedicated herself to, well, guiding him, helping him find his own path.
Wow, that's incredible. So her prize dream, in a way, was to help Phoenix achieve his potential.
In a way, yes. But it also speaks to a deeper point about prize dreams. They don't have to be solely about our own achievements. They can also be about making a positive impact on the lives of others.
That's such a powerful message. It adds a whole new dimension to the concept of a prize dream. It's not just about what we can achieve for ourselves, but also about the ripple effect, I guess, our actions can have on others.
Absolutely. And that ripple effect often starts with setting clear rules for ourselves. This is the second element of the praise model. And it's all about creating those internal guidelines that support your prize dream. Think of it as like building a structure that keeps you focused and accountable.
So it's not about external rules imposed by others, but about those internal commitments we make to ourselves.
Precisely. And it's not just about lofty principles, it's about translating those principles into concrete actions. George shares a really relatable story about how he conquered his habit of using vulgar language. He implemented this like self-imposed penalty system, paying a fine for every slip-up.
That's brilliant. It's about turning an abstract goal into a tangible system, making it almost like a game.
Exactly. It's about turning willpower into a strategy. And speaking of strategy, that brings us to the third element of the praise model, analysis. This is where we take a step back and honestly assess our strengths, our weaknesses, and the external factors that might be influencing our journey.
Okay, so analysis is all about getting a clear picture of the battlefield, so to speak.
You could say that. George draws inspiration from Sun Tzu's The Art of War,
Hmm.
emphasizing the importance of understanding not only our internal resources, but also the external landscape. He breaks it down into 5 factors: cause, heaven, earth, command, and system.
Wow, that sounds pretty intense. Can you break those down for us? What exactly does he mean by cause and heaven, for example?
He uses these terms metaphorically, drawing parallels between ancient military strategy and the challenges we face in modern life. Cause is all about understanding your why, the deeper motivation behind your prize dream. What is the driving force that fuels your efforts?
For George, it was his mother. He wanted to prove to her that he was capable of achieving great things, to redeem the years she had faced judgment for his academic struggles.
Exactly. And for you, it might be something completely different. Maybe it's a desire to create a better life for your family, to make a meaningful contribution to your community, or simply to prove to yourself that you can overcome obstacles and achieve your full potential. The key is to identify that driving force, that cause that gives you strength and resilience when things get tough.
That makes a lot of sense. So what about heaven? It sounds a bit mystical.
It's not about supernatural forces, but about those external factors that are largely beyond our control. Think of it as the weather on your journey. You can't control the rain, but you can prepare for it.
So things like our natural talents, the education system we grew up in, even certain family circumstances, these all fall under heaven.
Yes, those are all factors that influence our starting point and the challenges we might face. But George emphasizes that we still have a choice in how we respond to these factors.
We can't change the wind, but we can adjust our sails, so to speak.
Exactly. And that's where Earth comes in. This is about our immediate environment, the resources we have access to, and how we manage them.
So it's about understanding the terrain of our journey, figuring out what tools and support systems are available to us.
Exactly. George talks about the influence of our family and social circles, the importance of managing time effectively, even the physical space where we choose to work or study.
It reminds me of how he had to find alternative places to study because his home environment was too noisy and chaotic.
That's a great example. It's about being resourceful, creative, and proactive in shaping our environment to support our goals.
And it also highlights the importance of building a supportive network, surrounding ourselves with people who encourage us, challenge us, and help us stay accountable.
Absolutely. Those relationships can be invaluable resources on our journey to success. And that brings us to command, which, in the context of praise, is all about self-leadership. It's about being the general of your own army, so to speak. It's about taking charge of your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions, even when it's challenging.
This is where those 5 virtues of a general that George talks about come in right.
You got it. Wisdom, sincerity, courage, strictness, and benevolence. He argues that cultivating these virtues helps us develop the inner strength and resilience we need to overcome setbacks and achieve our goals.
It's like building that unshakable core, that inner compass that guides us through uncertainty.
Exactly. And remember, these virtues aren't just about being a good person. They're about developing the kind of mental toughness and strategic thinking that allows us to thrive in any situation.
Okay, so we've got cause, heaven, earth, and command. That leaves us with system. What exactly does George mean by that?
Think of it as the rules of the game, the established procedures and norms that influence our actions and outcomes. It's about understanding the larger framework within which we're operating, whether it's the education system, the corporate world, or even the social dynamics of our community.
So it's about knowing the rules, whether they're written or unwritten, and playing the game strategically.
Precisely. And George points out that a lack of system discipline can have serious consequences. He uses the tragic example of that Korean aircraft that was shot down after accidentally veering into Soviet airspace. It highlights how even unintentional deviations from established procedures can have devastating results.
That's a sobering thought. It emphasizes that understanding and respecting the system is not just about following the rules, it's about ensuring our own safety and success.
Exactly. And it's about using that knowledge to our advantage, navigating the system effectively to achieve our goals. And that brings us to the 5th element of the praise model, invincibility. This is about cultivating an unshakable belief in ourselves and our ability to overcome any obstacle.
It's about that inner strength that allows us to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward, even when the going gets tough.
You nailed it. And George believes that true invincibility comes from a combination of factors. He talks about his mother's unwavering love as a source of strength, but he also acknowledges the, well, paradoxical role his father's harsh treatment played in shaping his resilience.
Wow, that's really insightful. It suggests that our challenges, even the painful ones, can forge a kind of inner strength that we might not have known we possessed.
It's like that saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And George's journey through his master's program really exemplifies this concept of invincibility. He faced doubts from his classmates, the pressure of juggling a demanding job with his studies, and the initial struggle to adapt to a new academic environment.
But he didn't let those challenges break him. He persevered, drawing on his inner strength and the principles of the praise model.
Exactly. And that's what ultimately allowed him to not only succeed, but to thrive in an environment where others doubted him.
He didn't just meet the challenge. He exceeded everyone's expectations, including his own. He went from being overlooked and underestimated to being sought after for his contributions.
And that's a testament to the power of the praise model. It's not just a set of abstract principles, it's a framework for developing the kind of resilience, strategic thinking, and self-belief that allows us to overcome adversity and achieve our full potential.
So we've covered 5 of the 6 elements of the praise model: prize dream, rules, analysis, invincibility, and now system.
We're building up to the grand finale, the element that ties everything together, strategy.
Okay, I'm ready to dive into that. Let's unpack strategy and how it all comes together in the praise model.
Yeah, strategy. This is where the rubber meets the road, right? It's about turning those big dreams and aspirations into a tangible plan of action. And George, he provides this really practical framework for doing just that with what he calls the Freed method.
Freed. Okay, I'm intrigued. Break it down for us. What does Freed stand for and how does it work?
So Freed stands for foundation, revision, examination, evaluation, and discipline. It's a step-by-step approach to learning, problem solving, and achieving your goals no matter how ambitious they might be.
Okay, I like it. It's like having a roadmap for success, a way to break down those overwhelming goals into manageable steps.
Exactly. And it all starts with building a solid foundation. Think of it as laying the groundwork for your success. It's about acquiring the knowledge, the skills, and the mindset you need to tackle your prize dream effectively.
So it's not just about gathering information, but about developing the right mental frameworks and strategies to apply that knowledge effectively.
Yeah, you got it. George, he compares it to sharpening your axe before you chop down a tree.
Mhm.
You know, the sharper your axe, the more efficient and effective you'll be.
Makes sense. So once we've laid the foundation, what's next?
Revision. And this isn't just about cramming before an exam. It's about ongoing review and refinement of your understanding. It's about making sure those foundational concepts are truly ingrained in your mind and ready to be applied.
So it's about taking that knowledge and making it a part of your mental toolkit, something you can access and utilize whenever you need it.
Exactly. And then comes examination. This is where you put your knowledge and skills to the test. It could involve, practice exercises, simulations, or even real-world applications. The key is to get feedback and identify areas for improvement.
It's about taking that theoretical knowledge and seeing how it holds up in practice, right?
Precisely. And this is where things can get really interesting because sometimes we realize that our understanding isn't as solid as we thought it was. But that's okay. It's all part of the learning process.
That's where evaluation comes in, right?
You got it. Evaluation is all about taking a step back and analyzing your performance, both the successes and the setbacks. It's about asking yourself those tough questions. What went well? What could I have done better? What adjustments do I need to make to my strategy?
So it's about turning experience into wisdom, using those insights to refine our approach and make progress towards our goals.
Precisely. And this leads us to the final element of Freed: discipline. This is the glue that holds it all together. It's about having the self-control and commitment to stick to your plan, even when it's challenging, even when you're tempted to give up.
This is where things get real for a lot of us, right? It's easy to get excited about a new goal, to make those initial plans, but maintaining that momentum over time can be tough.
Absolutely. But George, he emphasizes that discipline isn't about being a robot or denying yourself all pleasure. It's about cultivating that inner drive, that sense of purpose that fuels your actions.
So it's about aligning your actions with your values, finding that intrinsic motivation that keeps you moving forward, even when it's hard.
Exactly. And it's about those small, consistent actions, those daily habits that compound over time and lead to extraordinary results.
It's like that saying, success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out.
You got it. And that brings us to the final and perhaps most profound element of the praise model: excellence. It's about going beyond just achieving a goal. It's about making success a habit, a way of life.
So it's about striving for continuous improvement, always pushing ourselves to be better, to do better.
Precisely. It's about that growth mindset, that relentless pursuit of mastery. Not just in one area of life, but in all areas, George. He shares the example of Benjamin Franklin, who developed this whole system for cultivating virtues, tracking his progress, and constantly refining his character.
Wow, that's inspiring. It suggests that excellence isn't just about external achievements. It's about that inner transformation, that ongoing journey of self-improvement.
Exactly. And it's about recognizing that true excellence isn't a destination, it's a journey. It's about embracing the process of learning, growing, and constantly evolving.
This is all resonating so much with me. I think one of the things that makes George Tan's story so powerful is that it's not just about his achievements, but about the mindset and strategies that allowed him to overcome those early challenges and create a truly fulfilling life.
I agree. And one of the key takeaways for me is that success isn't just about talent or intelligence. It's about developing the right skills, cultivating the right mindset, and applying a strategic approach to achieving our goals.
And that's what the praise model provides, a roadmap for anyone, regardless of their background or circumstances, to tap into their potential and create a life of purpose, achievement, and, yes, excellence.
And that's what makes George Tan's story so inspiring. It's a reminder that we all have the power within us to overcome adversity, to achieve great things, and to make a positive impact on the world.
Okay, so we've gone deep into the praise model, exploring each element in detail and how they all work together. But I'm curious, what are some of the practical takeaways for our listeners? How can they apply these concepts to their own lives, whether they're students, entrepreneurs, or just someone looking to achieve their goals?
That's a great question. And I think one of the most important takeaways is that the praise model, it's not a one-size-fits-all formula. It's a framework that can be adapted and personalized to fit your unique goals and circumstances.
So it's like a toolkit, offering a variety of tools and strategies that we can choose from and apply in different ways depending on the challenge we're facing.
Exactly. And the beauty of it is that you can start with any element that resonates with you most. Maybe you're feeling stuck and need to clarify your prize dream, or maybe you're struggling with procrastination and need to establish some clear rules to guide your actions.
Or maybe you're feeling overwhelmed by the complexity of a challenge and need to apply that analysis framework to break it down into manageable pieces.
Exactly. The key is to experiment, to try different approaches, and to see what works best for you. And remember, it's a journey, not a destination. There will be setbacks and challenges along the way, but the praise model provides the tools and the mindset to navigate those challenges and emerge stronger on the other side.
So it's about embracing that growth mindset, that belief that we can always learn, adapt, and improve no matter what obstacles we face.
Absolutely. And that's one of the most empowering messages of George Tan's story. It's a reminder that our potential is limitless, that we have the power within us to create the life we want, to achieve our dreams, and to make a positive impact on the world.
I love that. So what's one piece of advice you would give to our listeners based on what we've discussed today?
I would encourage them to pick one element of the praise model that really resonates with them and start applying it to a specific goal they're working towards. Give you something small like developing a new habit or tackling a challenging task at work. The key is to take action, to experiment, and to see how these principles can help you make progress and achieve greater success.
I love that. It's about taking those insights and turning them into concrete action. And I think that's what makes the praise model so powerful. It's not just about theory, it's about practical application and real-world results.
Exactly. And the more you apply these principles, the more you'll start to see the transformative power they hold.
Yeah.
You'll develop greater self-awareness, cultivate a more resilient mindset, and approach challenges with a strategic and proactive approach.
So it's not just about achieving a specific goal. It's about developing those lifelong skills and habits that will allow us to thrive in all areas of life.
Absolutely. And that's what makes this deep dive so valuable.
Yeah.
It's not just about learning about George Tan's story. It's about discovering the tools and the mindset that we can all use to unlock our potential and create a life of purpose, achievement, and yes, excellence.
I'm so glad we had this conversation today. It's been incredibly insightful and inspiring, and I hope our listeners are feeling empowered to take these ideas and apply them to their own lives.
Me too. And I think one of the things that makes this journey so exciting is that there's always more to learn, more to discover, and more to achieve. The praise model, it's not an end point. It's a starting point for a lifetime of growth and transformation.
I love that. And that brings us to the final thought I want to leave our listeners with today. We've talked a lot about the importance of lifelong learning, of constantly striving for improvement. But what if we took that concept a step further? What if we embrace the idea of becoming lifelong teachers, sharing our knowledge, our experiences, and our insights with others?
That's a powerful thought. It's
Yeah.
about recognizing that the journey of growth and achievement, it isn't meant to be traveled alone. It's about supporting each other, inspiring each other, and lifting each other up.
And imagine the ripple effect that could create. As we each embrace that role of lifelong learner and lifelong teacher, we contribute to a collective journey of growth and transformation that extends far beyond ourselves. Such a beautiful thought. It's like that saying, a rising tide lifts all boats. And as we learn and grow, we have this incredible opportunity to share those insights and empower others to do the same.
And that's really at the heart of what George Tan has done with his work. He's taken his personal journey of transformation and created this framework, the praise model, that others can use to navigate their own challenges and achieve their own dreams.
And that brings us to the final point I wanted to touch on. We've talked a lot about the different elements of the praise model, but I'm curious, in your experience, what's the one thing that often holds people back from applying these principles and achieving that level of excellence?
Hmm, that's a great question. And I think one of the biggest obstacles is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping outside our comfort zones.
Yeah, it's like this invisible barrier that keeps us from taking those risks, from putting ourselves out there, from truly embracing the journey of growth and transformation.
Exactly. And sometimes, that fear, it disguises itself as other things. Procrastination, self-doubt, even cynicism. We might tell ourselves that we're not talented enough, that we don't have the resources, or that the system is rigged against us.
So it's about recognizing those limiting beliefs, those voices of fear that hold us back from taking those bold steps towards our prize dreams.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of the most powerful antidotes to fear is action. The more we take action, even small steps, the more we build that confidence and that belief in ourselves.
It's like that saying, the only way to do it is to do it. The more we practice those principles of praise, the more we develop those skills of resilience, strategic thinking, and self-belief.
And remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about making progress. It's about those small, consistent efforts, those daily habits that compound over time and lead to extraordinary results.
So it's about embracing the journey, the ups and downs, the successes and the setbacks, knowing that each experience, even the challenging ones, is an opportunity for growth and learning.
Exactly. And that's what makes the praise model so powerful. It's not just about achieving a specific goal, it's about developing those lifelong skills and habits that allow us to thrive in all areas of life. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves.
I love that. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought. We've explored George Tan's incredible journey of transformation, from struggling student to top scholar and successful businessman. We've unpacked his praise model, a framework for achieving success based on principles of prize dream, rules, analysis, invincibility, strategy, and excellence.
And we've discussed how these principles can be applied, well, not just to academic pursuits, but to any area of life, from personal growth to professional success to making a positive impact on the world.
So the question I want to leave you with is this. What if you embraced these principles, not just as a means to an end, but as a way of life? What if you committed to becoming a lifelong learner, a master strategist, an embodiment of excellence in all you do?
What if you chose to view challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth? What if you dared to dream big, set bold goals, and take consistent action towards those goals, knowing that you have the power within you to achieve anything you set your mind to?
What could you achieve? What kind of life could you create? The answer, my friend, lies within you. Embrace the journey and let the praise model be your guide. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.